So Bitcoin fell down to our target range as predicted. And we can see that we had a nice reversal from here. So let's jump right down into today's video. Bitcoin paired up with USDT on the 1 hour Binance chart here. Now, as you can kind of see, we were targeting out this low range down here yesterday. This was coming in at 40,147 to 40,478 with a wick that we had achieved a low of 40,280 to the penny here on the Binance chart. Now, from here, we have obviously moved up and we found resistance up on the 50 SMA and 50 EMA, with the 50 SMA, the yellow line, currently coming in at $41,595 and the 50 EMA coming in at $41,699. That's the red line that you can see here on the chart, with our downward trend line also being heavy resistance. This trend line started up here at $43,578, also kind of got retested here at $42,930, and then we can see most recently we wicked up to the $42,196. So we have these lower highs on this move to the downside. We also have lower lows on this downside as well. Most recently, obviously, with the low that we had at $40,280, but also we can see here that there's a continuation of a trend to this downside here. Let me go ahead and snap a couple of trend lines on. As you can kind of see, we have this downward trend line coming in from the upper side and the lower side. So for the most part, Bitcoin here has kind of achieved its low target ranges as we were talking and as we were discussing yesterday. I'm going to go ahead and take off all of these lines now. We don't really need to see them terribly too much. I'm just going to go remove them from the charts so that we can have a cleaner view onto kind of where things are, right? So this is kind of where the business end of Bitcoin currently stands, right? It's a clean chart. We've achieved our targets to the downside here. It is a 5-wave pattern, so we complete that out here yesterday, just like so. Okay, so we know that our Elliott wave theory 5-wave pattern is done. I'll zoom out of this just a little bit and show you what that looks like on a grander scale. So obviously we have our little 5-wave move here that we were just mapping out. We then obviously have a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. All of this is wave 4. That's a wave 5. So this actually completes our bigger picture where we are going to be looking for a bigger move to the upside, I think, over time here. Now, this isn't going to be a straight line move. We're not going to go way straight all the way up there. But I would be expecting us to be pushing up towards $45,000 to $46,000. Now, in order to do this, we are going to have to rally up higher than the 50 EMA, the 50 SMA, the 200 EMA, and the 200 EMA, guys, is coming in at $42,697. That's the white line that's coming through here. So we know that our next move to the upside is one that we're going to have to kind of keep a close eye on. We might fall short of 46,000. We may achieve it just as expected. But for the most part, our structure here is quite interesting. Now, if I zoom in on the most recent price action here on the 1 hour time frame, you can see this continuation pattern. Okay, and the key word there being a continuation pattern. Here we have lower highs and lower lows, and this will have a tendency to want to break out to the upside. This is a continuation pattern, continuing what led into it. The rally to the upside. We go sideways over the weekend, and then we'll rally on up out of this into next week. Sorry. So ultimately, this continuation pattern, the lower highs and the lower lows here, with the resistance being currently found on our 50 EMA, 50 SMA, my expectations will be a small move to the downside over the weekend here, over the next few hours, getting us down nice and low before we rally on up, and we'll talk about moving up close to that 200 hourly EMA, right? So if we see this as a correction here, let me go ahead and just actually give us a broad range to kind of be thinking about here on this smaller move. If we go ahead and take this down to our high at 41,774, it's going to be close as I can get it without it going funny on me. Our expectations are going to be that we come down to this little yellow box here, basically 40,870 to 41,041. That there is going to kind of mark out our kind of expectations on this little mini correction over the weekend. And then from here, I think we're likely to see a surge to the upside. We'll, for the purpose of this, take the lower side of our 40,000. And then you can see that our 1 to 1.236 target on the slightly higher range will be here, 42,808 to 43,280. And this will basically be a 3-wave pattern taking us up here. So we have to go down before we go up. And then you can see once this completes, if we can get a close position above that 200 EMA, we'll probably look for a three-wave correction here before we then rally up again into another three-wave pattern, kind of giving us a total three-wave structure that look like this, taking us out towards that $45,000. And the $45,000 is going to be this area of consolidation that we saw. There's a lot of resistance actually around 44 to be fair. So let me go ahead and snap on that expectation, because this is going to be the first area of resistance to kind of be thinking about. It's 44,214 to 44,729. If we can get through there, the area of what I was hoping that we would achieve would be in this little range. Actually, I'm going to put it right on here. It's quite broad. But basically 45,606 to 46,975. That's going to be the upper area. So these are the two areas of focus, really. I guess the main one to focus on is actually 44,200 to 44,700. That'll be the first one to kind of keep an eye on. And then, of course, if we can get past there, then we'll talk about 45.5 to 46.5 approximately, and to kind of get us back up to this previous area of consolidation that we've lost and we couldn't get back up to. So if we can, that'll be the expectation. Once, of course, complete, the expectation from here is going to be another five-wave move to the downside. And this one might be really, really steep. It might not be. It might be really tame. But we will be looking at testing out $38,000 to $37,000 in that kind of range, in my opinion. So everything's kind of looking actually okay for Bitcoin. I think we've got some pretty decent target ranges. We've got our expectations kind of set. I'm going to leave all the yellow boxes on here so you guys can see what they look like. If I throw on smart money concepts, we can see that equilibrium was tested yesterday. That's right here on the 50 EMAs and the 50 SMAs. We got rejected there. We have got a bearish structure, change of character that is break of structure confirming that we are bearish. And, you know, we are looking for that next relief rally before we continue going down into more break of structures and things like that. Now, we might find ourselves with a change of characterization on this, but I'm not expecting that. These areas of consolidation happen to coincide with the fair value gaps, but no guarantees of those moves either. So smart money concepts is basically just giving us the bearish kind of stance on the market. It hasn't really given us any kind of hopium, I guess, in terms of the price action there. Let's take this up into the daily time frame. The daily time frame has lost the 50 EMA and the 50 SMA, as you can kind of see here. It has broken down. So the 50 EMA is currently resistance for us. This is $42,083. The 50 SMA, the yellow line, is at $43,094, and also is resistance. So we've now broken down to a point where we've lost the daily 50 EMA and the 50 SMA. This is not a strong position for Bitcoin to be in, but we will be looking, in my opinion, for a relief rally, and we will be looking for a move above these areas. The main filter, being the 200 EMA, is currently sat down here at 35,261. So unless we get a daily close below the 200 daily EMA, we are still sort of bullish on the market. You know, still a lot of hope that Bitcoin's in a pretty good place. So until that's lost, I don't think we could be super bearish on BTC. For now, though, I think the 50 EMA, the 50 SMA is causing a little bit of concern. But I think considering we've completed our pattern to the downside here, the next pattern is going to be moving up more towards kind of that 44, 45, 46,000, somewhere in that range. As you can kind of see, there's a lot of resistance to be seen here. Right in this little sweet spot, actually, on our daily. It is 44 to 45, and we might be able to push up a little bit more should we have momentum to do so. So it's going to be interesting. That's going to be the area where I think most of the resistance is likely to be seen. You can see that we are in an interesting spot, actually. Let's go ahead and actually adjust this a little bit, because I don't think it's actually that accurate for where it is. Let's go ahead and see. Can I just grab this? Currently, I cannot. Yeah, no, we're in a reasonable spot. You can see all of this volume here. It is up at that range of 44 to 41.5. So we are finding there being areas of volume just above the price action where we are. Where we go down a little bit deeper, there really isn't a lot, so we might fall down even deeper. So we really do need to see reversal here. If we can't see reversal here, we're probably going to be looking at $38,000 before we actually start to see any decent reversal. So we really must hold the 40K area, and we really have to push up even higher here. We have to go back up towards $44.5, $45,000 in my opinion, and then start thinking about the corrections down from there. We have momentum on our daily chart, so that's not a problem, but we haven't crossed on the stochastic RSI, the yellow line. And the smoothing, the D line here, hasn't crossed yet. So we haven't crossed higher than the average stochastic RSI. So we're still technically looking for this to be a bit more on the bearish side for a bit longer. I don't think we're ready to kind of see reversal here on the stochastic RSIs. No divergences, and the RSI is below that midline, still looking to correct down. So plenty of room to the downside on the daily RSI, currently coming in at 43.24, and we have plenty of room to the downside there. Volume profile wise, on the daily time frame is well, yeah, not really all that impactful, but it has fallen down a little bit here as we finished off this correction. So that gives us hope that we will be looking for a bounce to the upside on BTC. So yeah, I think for the most part, guys, that's going to finish off today's video. I will leave it there. So why not check out this video right here, where I am discussing what I think is going on with Bitcoin dominance and a potential altcoin season.